Whether you're picking and grinning or just picking or just grinning, grab a drink, pull up a seat. It's time for Roots Music Rambler. Turn it up.
Jason,
Yes.
have you listened to the new Waylon Jennings album?
I've listened to it about 4 times already.
Oh, okay.
And it just came out, just when we're recording this, it just came out a couple days ago. But I listened to it twice on the first day that it came out. And then I've listened to it a couple more times. And I think it's fantastic. And if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Songbird is the name of the album. It is the first new Waylon Jennings music that has been on the market since he passed away in 2002, I think, or maybe 5. It's been a while, almost 25 years. I think it's 2002 is when he died. And Shooter Jennings, his son, uncovered, didn't uncover. He had these archives, but had never gone through them, and went through these old demos and unfinished studio cuts and all this, analog tape recordings and things like that from his father's archives, and discovered that there was so much material there that he could not produce just one album, not produce 2 albums, but produce 3 albums. And this Songbird is the first of 3 in a trilogy of new Waylon Jennings music we're going to get over the next couple of years. He announced it, I think it was maybe last February or something like that. Or was it? No, it was last year. It was on Father's Day last year.
That's right. We talked about
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
It was last June. It was Father's Day when he said, I'm doing this. Well, it's come full circle all the way around. Or was it Father's Day this year? It doesn't matter when it was. He announced it and we got all excited, and we've had a couple singles trickle out. He released Songbird, the title track, about a month or so ago. And then the Cowboy Small Texas Town came out after that. Well, this last Friday, when we're recording this, the full album came out. It has 10 tracks on it. And my first reaction as I listened to it was, this is Waylon Jennings music. Like this, and what I mean by that is, it is a beautiful reminder that really good songs and really good songwriting from a really good legendary performer don't need decorations. Right? Waylon songs are simple. They're stripped down. I mean, you're talking 50 words total in each song, because it's, verse, chorus, done. And the arrangements are just him and his band. There's not orchestration. There's not a lot of decoration. There's not a lot of accoutrement. It's just him playing guitar, somebody playing a pedal steel, somebody playing the drums, somebody playing the bass, and there might be a fiddle or something else that kind of comes in there, but it's just stripped down Waylon Jennings singing a song, and it's awesome. Every cut, I was just like, holy crap, that's another great Waylon Jennings song. And it amazes me that these are songs that were demos and or were left on the cutting floor of previous albums that didn't get used, because there's 2 or 3 songs on here that I think are just like hit songs, hit singles.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite song on the record is called Wrong Road Again. So I would encourage everybody to go out and listen to that, and we'll make sure there's links to Songbird in the show notes and all that good stuff. I Hate to Go Searching Them Bars Again was the single they released the same day as they released the album. And it's kind of the same song as Wrong Road Again. It's kind of the same theme. It's a Waylon album. He's talking about, falling out of love or falling in love or troubles in the relationship. That's what Waylon writes about. Drinking, honky tonking, rambling.
Of course.
That's all that stuff in there. But then there's one song in there. I Don't Have Any More Love Songs. Speaking as someone who's been through a divorce, that song just grabbed me by the heart and just pulled me down. It was just, because it's exactly what you feel when you're in a relationship and you sense that it's done. Because kind of the way the song goes is, I don't have any more love songs for you. And
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
just, it's powerful. I mean, it's really good songs. This is Waylon, who's one of the greatest ever. And holy shit, it's such a good album. I love every cut on it. Again, I've gone through the whole album 4 times. I've listened to 3 or 4 singles, more than that. But yeah, if you haven't heard Songbird yet, at least listen to it on the streaming services. I would recommend just getting the album, because you can put that thing on and play it and you're not going to be sad you did. So,
Okay.
there you go.
Wow. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. And I cannot wait for the second album and the third album and anything else that Shooter wants to do with any of his dad's archives, because it's freaking awesome. I mean, and what a treat that we are given that, 20 some odd years after his death, we get new Waylon music. It's, to me, it's amazing. They also, I think it was the same day that album was released. They released a deluxe edition of John Prine's 1995 album. And I'm going to forget the name of it now. Lost Dogs and Mixed Blessings. And it has alternate versions of, I think, 4 or 5 songs on it, and a track that was never on the original. So here we are, John Prine died in 2020. So we're 5 years after his death. We're 20 some odd years after Waylon's death, and we're getting new music from these guys. It just, what a great time to be alive and be a music fan. This is crazy. So.
Yeah, that is, remarkable. That's the word I was looking for.
That's a good way to put it. Anyway,
go
get this music, this new music from old folks. I love it.
I'm on it.
Welcome to Roots Music Rambler. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And we're rambling on through the stories behind the music we love.
Today on the show, we are talking with one of the most unique bands I think we've come across. They're Atlanta-based, and the name of the band is Del Roscoe. They're described as Gothic indie Americana. Okay, so let that sink in for a second. And I will admit that it was the Gothic part of that description that intrigued me. So, I gave them a listen, and I really enjoyed what I heard, and now they're on the show.
Yeah. Del Roscoe. Wow, they are steeped in folk and Americana. It definitely has a very ethereal, almost haunting sound to their music. And add to that, they have this really just sharp, vivid songwriting. And this is a level of artistry that you don't see from debut albums from anybody. This is their first album. There's 10 or 12 songs on it, and it's just the creativity behind this and the vision behind it is really amazing. So it's fascinating stuff.
Absolutely. And it's not, the artistry and creativity isn't just limited to the music, right? There are the masks. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll have to go search up some pictures of Del Roscoe. I can't describe the masks and give it any sort of justice. So you'll just have to see it. And that's what I really want to ask them about. Like, they're very cool, and they make them themselves. And they're just slightly creepy. But it definitely adds to the band's like intrigue and, ingenuity.
Yeah, they remind me of, I saw My Morning Jacket play at Forecastle Festival several years ago, and they were playing in Louisville, which is their hometown, so they had to go big and do something crazy. And part of the show, there were several things they did, but part of the show was they had these giant paper mache street puppets that marched out on the stage with the puppeteers underneath them and whatnot. And they were huge, like almost like Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade float huge. And it just made this visual thing happen that you were like, what am I seeing? This is absurd. And it kind of reminded me of that. Now their masks are certainly probably made of the same type of material, the paper mache material, and they're larger than a human head, but they're not that big.
Right.
But it's just really interesting how they bring out this sort of, again, it goes with that kind of Gothic, vibe. That's really interesting. So we'll definitely ask them about that and figure out what that means and where that's from. We're also obviously going to talk to them about it's a self-titled album, Del Roscoe. It came out on August 22nd of this year. The album has already started to get praise for the storytelling. And they talk about, there's some political overtones in there. There's some warning, some resistance, things like that. The band is made up of Robert Lee on lead vocals and acoustic guitar, Tim Lee, his brother, on mandolin and vocal harmonies, Yanelle Cornez on electric guitar and vocal harmonies. She is Robert's girlfriend and is from France. There's a song on the album that's in French that she sings that's beautiful. They also have Steve Thomas on lap steel, Deborah Talla on accordion, and Paul Aberlat on bass, and Matt McKinney on drums.
Yes, and you mentioned Paul. He did play bass on the album, and he's a founding member of the band. But shortly after recording began for this album, Paul was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So he was able to record all of his bass parts before he passed. And understandably, this album, their debut, is dedicated to him.
Sure. And it seems that, finishing up the album and releasing it after their friend passed away was truly a labor of love. It's a tough topic for the band, I'm sure. We will ask about it. But it's also a representation of the passion for their craft that Del Roscoe embodies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then we'll have plenty to talk about with them. We'll also have our pick in the grinnin', and that's where we recommend some great music to you.
That's right. This is going to be a good one, folks. I mean, how can you not love a band that's named after two dogs, Del and Roscoe? You're not going to want to miss any of this. And so take this opportunity to fill up a beverage like I'm about to do. Go grab a snack or something and settle in. When we come back, we're going to talk to Del Roscoe. This is Roots Music Rambler.
Coming around. Nobody's safe when he comes to your town. Don't run away, be ready to fight. He travels by day to get there at night. Man in the black hat's coming for your town.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That song's called Black Hats. It's from Del Roscoe off their self-titled album that was just released back in August. Thanks for hanging with us here on Roots Music Rambler. Robert and Matt, how are you?
We're doing good.
Great.
Very good.
That's great.
Hey, thanks for having us.
We're glad to have you. So there's a lot we want to talk about. I'm sure a lot more than you want us to talk about, but let's start with the new album. We briefly talked in the open that the album is dedicated to your friend and founding member, Paul Aberlat. Of course, that must have meant a lot to all of you to have him still involved, and certainly was emotionally involved to push through and get this thing done. What else does it mean to you to have your debut record out in the world?
Paul was a very intricate part of everything. I mean, he was a good friend, but he was a great bass player, but even a better friend, I would say, for sure. We got this done. We went into the studio and recorded. We were going to do an EP, but then we really wanted to get Paul while he was still strong and able to do it. And we were so grateful for that, because he is on this record for eternity, and we're so proud to have that, out there in the universe, but yeah, the record it's our debut record, and it's always a big deal, when you're putting yourself out there for the first time. And we have a lot of people in the band, so it's like so you have a lot of people's ideas, and you're just often the first record is a culmination of a lot of ideas, and you're not sure. I think for the focus, maybe you don't know what the focus is yet, basically, because it's your first record, right? So it was exciting, scary, and ended up being very satisfying. It was a thrill. So
very nice. And the song that we heard at the beginning of this segment, Black Hats, is on the new record. And in the open, we talked a little bit about your sound. You know, it's very haunting, and Black Hats definitely has that sound to it. So the song itself has been described as channeling grief into political anger. But aside
yeah.
from that, why was it important to you to write and record the song, and what kind of message do you hope is conveyed?
Yeah, I think it's in whatever your politics are, or your whatever your commentary might be, it is just a scary time right now where and even with social media, what is real, what's not, it's a lot of it's a s- a rather sinister kind of world these days in a lot of ways. So the song to me was a black hat is of course the bad guy in old Western movies, and um my father, who also he passed away a few years ago, and this record is a lot about my experience with growing up in Ohio, small town Ohio. But he would watch Westerns on repeat. And there was always, of course, a black hat, then there was the good guy, right? So our experience with the black hat is um yeah, it's the thing that you fear, I guess. It's about the fear. And the things we don't know, can't predict are I think the most frightening things to have around you. So I think that having the narration of this black hat, this symbol, this metaphor for a force that is force for negative, for taking advantage, for evil in a way. But so yeah, that's what drove the song. And I'm a huge like Clint Eastwood spaghetti western and that whole kind of vibe too. And those soundtracks were so important to me growing up. So the whole narrative and the imagery that song provokes. And I think that's why we did a video for it too, because it was the one song that really provoked a lot of imagery for us.
Well, let me ask about the video as well, because it's not your average music video. There's no concert footage or anything like that. And I think, as we understand it, you guys handmade the props that we see in the video, the pop-up book, the replica instruments. It's all visually very stunning. Is that kind of a design element that you're probably going to continue to use, that aesthetic? Can we expect more of that from you guys? Because it's very artistically visionary and driven.
Yeah, absolutely. My brother and my brother plays mandolin and did the artwork for the record too as well. And then Matt and the whole band, we're very just very into making stuff, and the whole analog aesthetic to it. I think today we need more analog, So I think that it's very important to us. And the handmade thing is it's like vinyl records, there's you engage with it, So having the mask, which is, obvious symbol for just hiding your true identity, and we really wanted to push that, but also just the creativity in it. I think that uh I think that that's just how we think visually, and our narratives are otherworldly or just very fantastical in some ways. So it's for Black Hats especially, it's nice to to use masks and handmade stuff and paper mache and as the vessel for the message, I think.
And it's almost like you had our script ahead of time and you knew what the questions were going to be,
I did.
because
I have AI there. Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
right, of
I have
course.
microphones all around your place.
AIIQ. There you go.
So we're very proud of the video. It took a lot of work. But it was just very, very fun. And making those things, when you make something, it's just different. It's just your hands are in it, and you're dedicated, you're committed, you're in it,
Yeah.
you know.
And I'll throw in, I think like part of this is like the kind of folk art aesthetic to it, right? Like we really want to lean into the human element of what we're doing, right? Like we are humans, we have emotions, we have feelings, we want to express that, and like visually we can do that as well. And there's like a lot of opportunities to take shortcuts, but the fact that we sat there and had our fingers covered in paper mache paste and paint and like just the whole process. It's imperfect, right? Like we're all imperfect, but we're celebrating that. And it's too easy to try to be perfect this day and age with all the technology that's out there. And I just think it's really important for us to like visually and like sonically try to like capture that human element and have it out there. Cause I think it's more important than ever. And, you know, I have kids and I'm like telling them, I was like, listen, like all this stuff that's going on, all this AI, all this stuff, like, yeah, it's a useful utility. However, I want you to remember we're humans and like,
Yeah.
remember like there's that element, like whatever you do, make sure it's there. Like it is critically important. Like people, that's what resonates with other humans. Like that's who we are. That's the relationship, the way we communicate. Right. And we don't want to like rob ourselves of that because there are lots of ways to make it, you know, easy for us to, I don't know, like come across on social media and do something fun and easy really quick. I'm like, oh wow, that's great for the algorithm. But I don't know, like we're veering off in a different direction. And you know, it's a little bit old school, but that's okay. We're fine with that. Like we love it and we think it's really important to celebrate that.
I couldn't agree more. It's kind of refreshing to see that, right? In this day and age of everything being polished and filters,
Oh,
you
for our
know.
say filter, you know.
Yeah, and you
By the
guys,
way, do you have my filter on my face, please? I sent that ahead earlier.
The de-aging
Yeah,
filter.
de-aging, yes.
or maybe we can develop like a Del Roscoe Snapchat filter where
Oh
we
my
take a
gosh.
picture and then we get our own
Yeah.
mask.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
I gave you a 30-something filter. I don't know if you got it, but it's not working. It's not
Oh,
working.
well, thanks.
Or what's
Um,
that?
but the masks, do you wear them like when you're performing?
No, we don't have that good of insurance to wear those on.
Okay. I was worried. I was
Fall on
very
our ass.
concerned.
But they're yeah, it's just storytelling. My brother and I we're illustrators, so we're used to telling stories without words. And then with Del Roscoe, it's like we're telling stories without pictures, which music and words, right? So it's interesting to exchange, you know, the visual and create the visual to wrap around our narrative and our stories. But I just think it was fun, and I think that we're kind of folk art, we're outsider art in a way, you know. And that's kind of how we approach. That's how we approach our art. I think what we do is we are just ourselves. You know, we've been on this earth for a little while, so we're like, sorry, this is it. And it's like we're probably good. It'll probably we'll probably go under, and we'll probably fail when like Kiss Unmasked when their record when they had Kiss Unmasked. They just were everything the same when they took their makeup off. So we're probably safe. We might use mask for a little while longer, you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
we're here for it. So I think
Definitely.
I love the creativity and the vision, and I also love the fact that you're just kind of like, yeah, this is who we are. So just deal with it. All excellent stuff. We definitely want to talk more with Del Roscoe about their roots and influences and how the band came together. Let's head to break, though, with another single off their debut album. This one's called A Few More Miles. You're listening to Roots Music Rambler.
Much longer to go before I outrun all my ghosts. Watch the billboards shed their skin. Maybe I could shed my skin as well. Trying to be a better man before I blow it all to hell. Just a few more hours, just a few more miles. is real.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That's Visions from Del Roscoe off their self-titled debut album. That one kind of gives us some Neil Young vibes. Would you consider someone like a Neil Young an influence? And either way, who or what other influences play into your songwriting?
I think that storytellers I love, like John Prine or Townes Van Zandt, but also of course, Neil Young, just because of his rawness and just his honesty with his music, for sure, 100%. And Neil Young, of course, could rock hard, but he some of his my favorite moments are the acoustic and the more intimate songs are my favorite. So it's all about storytelling for us. So I think that we gravitate towards the storytellers, and there's a lot of great ones, and also there's a bit of a folk music revival a little bit with I think that happens part of the reason because when the political climate becomes, so, like it's volatile, like it is, I think you tend to have things you need to voice and sing about, and folk music's folk music is about the words even before the music, they work together, but the words are very important. And that's how we approach, what we do is, it's kind of like a neo folk, but also Americana, country. We call ourselves Americana adjacent, or no, country curious. That's the
Country.
one.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
Country curious. But,
I hadn't come across
that's
that
cool.
that description.
I had some friends who were country curious in college, and then they met the dads, and they weren't country curious anymore.
Oh yeah, you know how it is. In college, you're curious about everything. So.
That one time, just that one time in college.
Just that one time. I listened to Hank Williams one time, I swear. One time.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
One time. It was one time, yeah. It was in a
Okay. I'm going to have to gather myself here.
Yep.
Okay. So we know that you're currently based in Atlanta. That's correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned being from a small town in Ohio. Where is that where you're all from originally? Like
no, my brother and I, we've known each other for all of our lives practically.
well,
makes
that's
sense.
interesting.
We're from Marion, Ohio, but we grew up in our family, our parents and our grandparents were from a coal mining town in southeastern Ohio. So I grew up on farms and around. My grandfather was a coal miner, a preacher, and a farmer. So my mom is actually a coal miner's daughter. So
nice,
snap. So yeah, those stories live with you, and it's not when you're like in your teenager or whatever, you don't want to talk about your family and how much they mean to you. But then when you get older and you're a songwriter and then you're like, wow, I have to write about that. That's what shaped me and formed me. And, so now, I couldn't have written the songs that I write now if I was 21 or 22 years old. I just didn't have the perspective of those things, how important. I think like getting away from something, the song Few More Miles is all about that. It's like leaving to know how important being there was for you. You got to leave the room to know how much you miss the room, so that song's all about that really. And so yeah, that's exactly kind of what drove me to kind of write these songs. And Matt, where are you from? You're from some
pretty much around here.
Yeah, he's from around here. He's a local. Yeah.
What about the rest of the band? Because you got so many different people. Do you know where everybody else is from?
My girlfriend Yana L, who sings the French song, she's from a small town south of Paris, about 50 miles south of Paris. It's funny. My town, Marion, Ohio, is like whatever, established in 1800, 1700. Her town is like 1200. It's like a medieval town. Like, damn it, you got me beat.
Yep.
Like, and the antiques are much older there for sure. Yeah. So it was very, and then my brother, of course, where I'm from, and who else? So Steve, the steel player, who I call the tear machine, because he plays the steel, and it's just a really sad instrument. And I met him in 6th grade, and he played, he played guitar forever. He was always, that neon metal guitar. He can do that hammer on stuff, and then as he played in those bands forever. Then he kind of got away from being in bands for a long time. But then I started, forming this band with my brother and my girlfriend. And then I thought, dude, we want lap steel on our record, and he's like, okay, I never played it before, but so he was a natural. And what's interesting about his approach was he researched David Gilmour's steel technique and instead of your country chicken picking technique.
Nice.
So I think that helps. When you said it has a ghostly, haunting vibe to it, I think that is a lot about the minor notes, of course, but also the steel guitar gives it that sad kind of vibe to it. So
that makes a lot of sense.
I would definitely say the steel, and then also the accordion and the mandolin, like that whole mix there. I listen to your music and it just gives me chills.
Thank you. Hope so you got chills because you're not sick and that you like the music. But
no, not this time. A few episodes ago, it was a different story, but I'm good now.
Nice.
But I think that the mandolin and the my brother who plays mandolin, he's been in bluegrass bands forever, right? So this band was a big challenge for him because he's not playing bluegrass music, and in bluegrass music, the mandolin never shuts up. It's like I'm chonka, I'm noisy, I'm here.
And that damn banjo.
Yeah, and the banjos. That's why they made Martin guitar so loud, because it had to be louder than the banjo. But he had to kind of rethink it, and it kind of breathed a new life into his whole way he wants to play. And then, so that goes back to the accordion, and that gives it an Eastern European vibe for sure. Kind of like that kind of whole gypsy and that kind of vibe, which that wasn't a goal of ours. It just happens when you get people in a room. And speaking of that, we were friends before we started the band, so it wasn't like we were very open to talk and vocalize our feelings about songs and stuff. So that was very important, to love your bandmates before you even played a lick of music.
Wow,
so
that's a great point. I'm curious where music started for everybody. Do y'all come from musical families? How'd you get involved in music, and where were your first influences, whether it was family or school or friends? Where'd that all come from?
Matt, where's yours?
Oh, mine?
Pressure.
No, my family was not musical at all. As a matter of fact, my wife, who has a very good ear, she remembers going
to right ear, though. Left ear is kind of.
Yeah, she remembers going to church with me and my mother singing and be like, "Oh my God, she cannot be for real. Like, is she really like my mom was such a bad singer."
Wow.
And so I think I inherited that as well. So that's why I play drums.
Yeah, drummers are the best singers.
Yeah. So, but no, I just had a love of music from early on, and I don't know, it just like got me. I just could not, like, from an early age, always wanted to put the radio on, MTV, whatever it was. Like, I just wanted to find music. I just had to have it around me, and it just kind of became a passion. In middle school, joined the middle school band, and just kind of went from there, and just kind of stuck with it. So,
could you edit out the middle school band part?
Yeah, that was fun. So but it was great.
Did we know marching band references?
No, that was high school. Well, the marching band.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, middle school.
But you were a middle school student when you were in the middle school band, right?
I was. Yeah.
And you weren't like an adult in the. Okay.
Right.
That would be clear that up.
Yeah, that'd be a little weird.
Yeah, that would be weird. So thank you for that.
No problem. I got you.
And myself, my dad, who I mentioned earlier, his name was Frosty. His name was Forrest, but when he was young, his best friend was 6 years old and he couldn't say Forrest, so he could Frosty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
He grew up. I mean, he was always in a country western band when I was growing up. It was called Swingin' Country, and they would do cover songs, and they would play VFWs. This is the Midwest, of course. Eagles Lodge, a lot of lodges, a lot of campgrounds, a lot of that kind of thing. So I would stay at home and watch horror movies, but my mom would take them out, and she was a designated driver, and she'd come home and say, "Yeah, your dad forgot the words to Elvira's Giddy Up, a oompa oompa mau mau, Elvira again." I'm like, "Well, how do you screw up that?" Because he drank a little too much, maybe, but I give you up, oompa oompa. How do you mess that up? But anyway, so I was influenced by But when you're young, you don't like your parents' music. I didn't.
Of course.
When I went to bed at night, I remember I would be up in my bedroom and I would hear him just downstairs in the good room, which is that room you don't use ever. The last sound I would hear is I would hear the ice and a drink of whiskey stirring in the glass, the tinkling of the ice. Then I would hear him going and just practicing his George Jones and his Conway Twitty. And of course, then I didn't appreciate it, but now I'm writing about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's important to, I don't know, better late than never. But I am so thankful that my mom and my dad were very, they didn't push music on us, but they just were so involved in it and absorbed, so it couldn't help but rub off on him and I. So
Very cool.
Nice.
Giddy Up
So
Oompa Elvira. We don't have to pay for that song. Did I say more than?
No,
No,
we're
no,
good.
we're
We
good.
pay licensing fees. You're good, man. You can sing the whole damn thing. We don't care.
I just mess it up. But
Oh my goodness. So we are definitely excited for more music lovers to find out about you, Del Roscoe. Is there a tour in the works for you guys? Are you bringing your artistry on the road?
we're playing a few shows locally, and our goal is to is to maybe do. There's so many festivals now.
Yes.
Everybody's brothers, uncles, sister's wife has a festival. So we would like to get into that position where you're playing with like-minded artists. That's kind of the goal. Right, but right now we're just we're pushing this record and we're writing new stuff all the time, and we're playing some local shows. We're playing in Athens, Georgia, which is a huge music,
Mhm.
right? So we're playing there in a couple weeks. So stay tuned. We're just getting out there and trying to push the record still. And the tendency is okay, well, that record's done. Well, we got to write new songs, but you can't forget the record that you spent so much time on. So and we love it. We love it. So we're very happy with it, and we're excited for the future, and we're excited to talk with people like yourselves about
And
what
we're
we're doing.
excited to have
Yeah,
you.
we're tickled to have you guys. I was listening to the album again today. I've listened to it a couple times now, and I'm just fascinated by the sound. It sounds very different. And when I think something sounds different, it's usually a band that has a lot of potential or takes off or other people notice, because there's so
Farm.
much sameness out there that standing out musically is a big big hurdle to overcome. And I think you guys are definitely overcome that. Where can people find Del Roscoe? And I don't mean Del and Roscoe, the dogs. I mean, where can people find you guys on them their interwebs?
That's Matt's answer, right? Matt.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, our website's probably the best place, delroscoe.com. We have links to all the socials from there. We're trying to play the whole social game, putting all the posts and all that, and making it interesting. So, but yeah, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. You can find us there. But yeah, as far as like the tour and all that, we'd love to do that. I mean, everything we've done has been self-produced. So, I mean, it's just kind of a labor of love, and we're proud of it. We're happy to do it, and like you said, it's, I recognize, like, Robert did most of the songwriting, and as a drummer, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I have like interesting material to work with, and trying to keep it really stripped down what I'm doing, but complement it and work around it. It's been fun for me. But yeah, I hope that resonates with other people. I know it's kind of a little bit, it's hard to, when we're working on the marketing aspect and trying to share it and get it out there so people can find us. It's kind of a challenge. Like, there's definitely an indie vibe to it. It doesn't like squarely fit into your country or alt country or indie folk. So that's why we came up with the whole, Gothic indie Americana. It was like, how do we even start to like tell people about this thing?
Yeah.
Because we kind of touch on a few different items. So, but Robert and I have been talking about maybe the next few songs, EPs or albums, and we have some good ideas brewing. So we're excited to like work through those and share those with everybody. But just kind of all the normal places you can find us. Just hop on there and follow us and like us and all that good stuff, and we'd be happy to have you along for the ride.
We will make sure that links to all those places are in our show notes. Robert and Matt, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We understand you took time away from your bowling night to do so. and we really appreciate the time.
I appreciate you give us a shout out to our bowling, our fascination. Yeah, and
Can we expect some bowling songs?
Man,
I
don't know. We try to stay in our lane.
Oh.
You don't want to be pinned down.
We have some dirty words. I guess we gotta stay out of the gutter, But we will play bowling alleys near you. So if you're a bowling alley out there,
Hey, you know, Louisville is the home of the Lebowski Fest.
Oh
my God.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I brought my Jesus ball cleaner. I would say
oh my God.
Yeah, he was just doing that in front of everybody was admiring that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You piqued my interest.
You guys are a hoot.
Yeah.
You piqued my interest.
Well, I will do my best to connect you guys with the people who run that event. I have been a couple of times, and it is absolutely absurd, which kind of fits you guys a lot, I think.
We're joking aside. Nashville has East Side Bowl. It's a venue for like St. Paul and Brook. A lot of bands would play there.
Oh, Brooklyn Bowl.
Oh, Brooklyn Bowl. Then I think there's another one too.
That sounds yeah.
It's
it's
definitely a thing.
I think we're onto something.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for having us. We really appreciate it. And my name is Robert.
I drink. Wait, what? I drink
Pabst
my
Blue
PBR.
Ribbon. I drink my Pabst Blue Ribbon at Roberts.
Robert's Western Wear in Nashville.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
The only place to go there.
Right.
Only place we go.
Agreed.
Matt, you need a hat, or you could just have a mat.
Yeah.
A mat, but
Oh my
There he
God.
goes. He's got one.
Look at my
It's
my
a
Del
Del
Roscoe.
Roscoe hat. Okay,
oh,
That's cool.
All right, that's cool.
that's cool. We can do
Yeah.
that.
I need the Mad Hat. You're right.
That's right.
He kind of smells right now, so I think he needs a hazmat.
All right, we're gonna stop the interview there because this is getting out of hand.
Oh my goodness.
Guys, thanks so much for the time. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you guys are wonderful. Thank you.
Enjoy.
All right.
Thank you.
Pack your bags, it's time to hit the road. We're selling all furniture we own. Headed out on Highway 22. Start a new life, just me and you. Say, oh, westward we roam, roam. Oh, westward we roam. Got a job, moving town to town. Living small, but we're living proud.
Well, how about that?
Those guys are a riot.
If it weren't for the fact that I cut, an episode or two ago, we had our first interview conducted in the front seat of a car when I talked to Leah Blevins. I caught up with her at the Unbroken Circle Festival. I was gonna say it's our first interview of people in the front of a car, but it's actually not. It's our second. But they literally were at a bowling alley and took a break out of their bowling night to talk to us, which is probably why it was so off the wall. But man, that was fun.
Yeah, I definitely did not expect that. But it was thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just kind of goes with the personality, just kind of goes along with the band and the creativity and whatnot. So these are fun folks. You got to check out their music for sure.
For sure.
All right, it's time for our Picking the Grinning segment. This is where Frank and I pick a song or an album or a movement or a soundtrack or a show or something musical that's making us grin. It's our way of recommending new music or even old music that we've been listening to lately that's making us grin, and so we think it'll make you grin too. So I'm going to do the honorable thing and let Frank go first. Frank,
Why
who's
would you do
making
that to me?
Well, I'll go first if you want me to, but every time I
because
do, you
still
give me
haven't
shit over it.
decided. No, I don't want to go first.
All right, well, I'll go first then. So,
All right,
all right.
do it.
So, my picking the grinning this week is a band out of Boone, North Carolina, called Cigarettes at Sunset. And the at in the Cigarettes at Sunset is the at symbol, like in an email address.
Yeah.
Cigarettes at Sunset. Now, anytime you talk about bands from Boone, North Carolina, this is that's where Appalachian State University is. And we have established on this show that it is pronounced Appalachian. And if you pronounce it otherwise, then you should be shipped off to Croatia. Anyway, so Boone, North Carolina. And when I think of Boone, North Carolina, I think of a couple of different, if I'm not mistaken, the band, The Nude Party, is from Boone, North Carolina. They have some silly kind of frat boys type music out there, but Appalachian artists from Boone, North Carolina typically have a blend of Appalachian influence, but they're really rock bands. They're really rock pop bands with a little Appalachian influence. And that describes Cigarettes at Sunset. But Cigarettes at Sunset, they call themselves, I need to look this up to make sure that I'm not misquoting, because I want to make sure that I quote it. They call themselves Appalachian Possum Rock. And when I heard that, I was like, I'm listening. Here,
that's your people.
Keep talking. These are my people. So Appalachian Possum Rock. And the way that I would describe it to people who are hip to the Americana space at the moment, they remind me a little bit of the Nude Party. Certainly there's some similarities there, but they remind me a little bit of the band Wednesday, which has a really good album out right now. Probably one of the best albums of 2025. And Wednesday obviously is also known for having a guitarist by the name of MJ Linderman, who's pretty goddamn good and has a great solo album out there. Cigarettes at Sunset has a similar vibe. They're rock pop, but there's fiddles in there. There's some sounds in there that you're like, wait a minute, this is Appalachian Possum Rock. Makes perfect fucking sense. And they're really good. And I've listened to probably everything they have on Spotify a couple of times now, and I'm just really digging them. I think they've got a lot of potential, and they certainly are a little bold and a little brash in declaring what they are. And so Cigarettes at Sunset, go check them out. They're pretty damn good.
I now see my interest is piqued again with say it, Appalachian Possum Rock.
Yep, Appalachian Possum Rock.
Okay, all right, I got it.
I like it.
Okay, now hold on. Can we back up a little bit?
Sure.
You mentioned that we established that the proper way to say that word is Appalachian.
Appalachian,
right?
Yes.
Okay, and I know this, but what about the trail, the hiking trail that goes
That
from
is
Maine
the Appalachian Trail. There is no other way to pronounce that word. If you pronounce it any other way than Appalachian, you are wrong. If you pronounce it Appalachian, you are damn wrong. And I think there should be severe penalties in society for people who say it the wrong way.
And being a word nerd and someone who's a stickler about pronunciation and stuff like that, I definitely feel it. It's just not stressed or really talked about that much in where I come from. So,
well, you have to remember that for decades, the only thing that people thought about when it came to Appalachia was the Beverly Hillbillies and the Dukes of Hazzard. Nobody really took us seriously. And as people started to take us more seriously, as we started to produce, people that were significant in the world, like Chuck Yeager and people who did really fucking amazing things, and you started to go, oh, it's not just a bunch of dumb hillbillies. We started to assert ourselves a little bit and say, it's Appalachian. Stop fucking saying it wrong. It's fucking Appalachian. It's Appalachian. Appalachian. Appalachian.
Appalachian.
There you go.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify because I heard something not too long ago, and the person kept saying Appalachian Trail. And so it made me think, is the pronunciation different? Because it's the trail, not the entire region of Appalachia.
And I will say this, there are there are some people, little small pockets of really ignorant people in the Appalachians that actually say it a different way. They might say Appalachian, they might say Appalachian. Both are wrong, and both are neutering their culture, and they need to fucking stop it. It's Appalachian.
Got it.
100% of the time, all the time. There's a town in Florida that's called Apalachicola, and it's pronounced Apalachicola because that's how you fucking pronounce Apalachicola.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, get y'all riled up. I just needed clarification.
It's Appalachian State University. It's Appalachian Mountain Range. It's Apalachicola.
All right.
There's no other way to say it.
Okay.
For the record.
Sorry.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Who's your picking the grinning?
Oh, shit. I still got to do that. Okay. So I'm going to go with a song. All right. And well, no, not so much a song. Okay. I'll just tell you the artist. It's a local Chicago artist by the name of Kelly Owens Hutton. And she is known for momcore. I had no idea who she was. And then when I went to see Magnolia Boulevard, I don't even know how long ago, it's been more than a month now. She opened for them. And, she came out and she's talking about her new album that just came out. And she's like, it's 9 songs that are 2 minutes each, because when you're a mom, you don't have fucking time for anything else. And I really like that. I felt that, and then she's like, so then she's really funny. So she's introducing her first song and she's like, she mentioned that she has kids and I don't remember how many, but she said, I wrote this for my 12-year-old daughter. And so I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be sweet and sappy and whatever. She's like, it's called Shut Up. And I was sold. So I played it for my own daughter and she's like, this is dumb. I'm like, yeah, I think people in your demographic are supposed to say that, but people like me think it's hilarious. So it's funny. And I think she and her band, she doesn't take herself too seriously.
Nope.
And the momcore thing I think is just awesome. And that song, it spoke to me. Let's just put it that way.
Well, we'll make sure there's a link to her website in the show notes, because you can listen to Shut Up by Kelly Owens Hutton on that site, as well as the song Dog and the song You're Such an Asshole.
Yeah. Yep, that one too.
So, this looks fun. She looks cool. I already like it and haven't heard a bit of it yet. So I just like the attitude. I think it's awesome. So
I know. I think that's what spoke to me more than anything.
Well, see, this is the whole point of the Picking the Grinning segment, is to find something that people just aren't going to find otherwise and say, go check this out. This is pretty cool shit. So yeah. All right. Kelly Owens Hutton. I like it. And it's Kelly with an I. Very cool.
And right. Yeah. And a K.
Well, Kelli. So I think most people spell it Kelly.
I know. I'm just still a little jazzed up from talking to the dudes from Del Roscoe, and they just had me cracking up.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right. I think that wraps up a very amusing episode of Roots Music Rambler. And it is a production of Falls and Partners, copyright 2025. Our theme music is Sheepskin and Beeswax by Gentacorum. Join us online at rootsmusicrambler.com or on YouTube. Look for Roots Music Rambler. And make sure you mash that subscribe or follow button so you remember to join us for the next hoedown and throwdown. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And whatever you do, kids, ramble on.